Erin.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Out front tonight, the House Minority Whip, Democratic Congressman Steny Hoyer. And Congressman, thank you for being with me. You heard Sean Spicer. He says President Trump is, quote, extremely confident that the DOJ has it. They have the evidence that Trump was wiretapped. Do they?
President Trump is so extremely confident that he has so many things that he knows that aren't true. So I think it's very difficult to believe Sean Spicer. If they had proof, it seems to me they would have disclosed it to the Congress, but more importantly to the American people, and President Trump would have been happy to do that. The fact is, I think his representation was untrue. It's an alternative fact. It's either made up in his own head, and there's no evidence to corroborate that. So he may be extremely confident, but we've seen him day after day after day be very confident that things were as they are not. He makes it up as he goes along.
So when they said they needed, they asked for that delay, of course, as you're well aware, right? They wanted a delay from yesterday for another week, which they were granted by the House Intelligence Committee chairman. Does that make you think that they could have some type of evidence? If so, what is it? I mean, to your point, you're saying, well, you think if they had it, they would have already put it out there.
Yeah, it makes me think they don't have it, and they're trying to figure out how to get out of a statement that the president made that's not true and they can't corroborate. As I understand, Spicer's comments also were, well, they may not have been talking specifically about wiretapping. I just think that's it can't be true, or if it is true, is a wildly irresponsible statement. Wiretap means something specific to every American. Every American knows what a wiretap is. Every American knows that you have to get a court order with probable cause to tap an American citizen's phone or communications. And so some representation, no, he meant something else, like somebody standing at the door of Trump Towers and seeing who's going in and out, just is not believable.
So yeah, when Sean Spicer did say that and say that Trump was referring broadly to surveillance against his campaign, not to wiretapping specifically.
Well, but wiretapping
is there any kind of surveillance
specific.
That could be? Do you think there could have been?
Well, we have.
Other
I don't know what he's talking about, but as I've made an example, there's no doubt that candidates for office watch the other candidate. They go to their town meetings. They listen to what they have to say. They even put a camera in their face sometimes. I've had that done to me, and ask them a question. But all of that is not anywhere close to alleging that the President of the United States had Trump Towers or the Trump campaign or organization wiretap. That's a criminal offense if it was not done with probable cause. And if there was probable cause, the President says he didn't do it. The Director of National Intelligence under the Obama administration says he didn't do it, they didn't do it. And we believe, I can't say that he said that, but we believe that Mr. Comey, the Director of the FBI, has given reason to believe that the FBI didn't do it. So I don't think it happened. And I don't think they have proof that it happened. And I think they're now trying to weasel out of a very, very serious and unfortunate allegation the President made off the top of his head, as he said so many things.
So I want to ask you briefly here about health care. Democrats, of course, you're all united against the GOP leadership health care bill. Tonight, though, I don't know if you're aware, Congressman, but another moderate GOP congressperson has come out against it. Congressman Ross Latina from Florida, tweeting, "I plan to vote no on the current AHCA bill. As written, the bill leaves too many from my district uninsured." Can you say at this point that this bill definitively will fail?
I can't say that definitively, Erin. As you know, I'm the whip, and if you ask me how many Democrats are going to vote against it, I could say definitively how many Democrats are going to vote against it. But I haven't whipped on the Republican side. Obviously, the Republican side is deeply divided, which is not a new phenomenon. It's been deeply divided for 4 or 5 years in the past, and that's why John Boehner is no longer the Speaker, and that's why Paul Ryan has so much trouble unifying his party on a proposition that he puts forward. They're deeply divided. I think there's a real chance that it will fail on the floor, but we'll see.
Before you go, Congressman, Steve Bannon told the Atlantic magazine, give an interview there, and he said during the Access Hollywood videotape, of course you know the one when Trump talked about sexually assaulting women, Kellyanne Conway saved Trump's candidacy. That's Steve Bannon's points of view. His quote is, if Kellyanne had not been there when the firestorm hit, I don't know if we would have made it. She literally became a cult figure during that time period. That again, Steve Bannon. Is he right?
I think there's a lot of merit in that argument because I think the women of America were extraordinarily offended and outraged by the statement and the alleged conduct, or the conduct that he said he involved himself in. What Kellyanne did, a woman came forward, an articulate woman, and said, look, he really didn't mean that. That's not the kind of person he is. I know him. And she gave her imprimatur to Donald Trump. And we know that an awful lot of women did, in fact, vote for Donald Trump, which I find very, very surprising, given what he said and his conduct. So that I think there's some merit in what Bannon says on that issue, because I think Kellyanne Conway did, in fact, give him some greater credibility than he otherwise would have had as a result of that tape.
All right, Congressman Hoyer, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Out front next, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson using the fake name Wayne Tracker for